What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition and MC that writes fiction back at it with another reaction. You might have seen the pictures going around and this whole Drake and Morgan Wallen. I didn't even know that Morgan Wallen was racist. Like, I reacted to a couple of his tracks. I literally did not know. And that's some of the stuff that's very, very irritating, when it comes to reacting and doing certain things. But this is Fantastic Hip Hop's Why Drake just leaked up a Morgan Wallen and everyone hates him for it. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you'll miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. But what's frustrating is like I'll find out stuff about this after I've reacted and different things like that because the same thing was happening, and which is why you don't really see too many of the Tom McDonald's or anything on here that much anymore, because there's certain things that I don't agree with or how certain things are being represented. And once I kind of get that, it makes me kind of look at things, differently. So it's like, y'all let me know because I haven't did any research on what racist thing Morgan did, but let me know. But Drake being associated with this person with that information does makes the optics look very, very bad. So let's see what Fantastic Hip
Now,
Hop
when
is
it
saying.
comes to Drake, well, if you were ready to see how Drake just came out and reached an even lower low than we could have ever possibly imagined, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now,
Be
really,
sure to.
as what Drake just did may be the full on start to his next era where he is going to be all in on standing alongside the biggest vultures possible, leave that like so all
Oh
of hip hop
man.
can see how sad Drake is going out. And now, with that said, well, right now, when it comes to lame old Lawbreak, after a rough run of illness that all stemmed from the all-time handing of an L that he got when Kendrick Lamar went to the Rogers Center at the Grand National Tour. Well, what we are seeing now is that really with that moment and now the long-lasting impact of it, what's becoming clear is that this show and the reaction from it has broken Drake more than anything really has, because now from leaving the six and trying to build up something new as his home, to just Drake being more friendly with a country star than any rapper right now and really trying to make this a statement that everybody can see. Well, with this, as Drake just popped out with Morgan Wallen and wanted every single person to know, well, with where we are at and what
you
Drake is
know,
trying to do and prove in general.
it's crazy because it's like there's certain moves when I look at on a business or when I look at on an artist standpoint, not necessarily a rap, but a musician standpoint. It's like certain moves, like let's take away as far as like the beef, let's take away as far as whatever alleged racist stuff Morgan's that, because again, I don't know. Like I said, if you know, let me know in the comments so I know where I can like start to do the research. But um taking away those particular aspects, when you get a artist that's connecting with another like mega artist in their field, it is a smart move. The issue that comes about is Drake is too public for it not to look like uh for it to pretty much backfire on him. It'll be different if, yeah, we could say that the average music listener probably doesn't even know about the beef. If it's very like surface level, like, oh, this popular song that Kendrick did go with that Drake, da 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 da. They're probably not thinking pretty much beyond that. But we can't say that, even with that said, that it hasn't affected Drake to the point that any of these moves that may have been considered really good for an artist, it's tainted at this point. I don't know for sure, but I want to say he was recently dropped from the whole steak thing and everything like that. and him dropping this album. I think recently he dropped a single, or he was featured on some single that isn't doing too good. So it's he's at a point where on the optics this may look good, like, oh, like Drake and Morgan Wallen, da, 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 da. But for his found, I would say that rap hip hop is his foundation. And I think for him to be going about things in this particular way, it's a self-own. It's a self-own that Drake is moving where it's convenient for him, or potentially, good for his career, good for some sort of sales or something like that. Kind of like to see what the people would say, because let me tell you this, if he did these pictures and different things like that and got a response that made him think that, oh, me and Morgan Wallen doing a track together would go crazy. A lot of this stuff I feel like he's doing is a temperature check. And it's funny because we're seeing this all in real time, and because he's such a popular figure, he's doing a lot of what marketing teams and different things like that do. They will put certain things out, but because they're bombarded and they're going against other, people, sometimes, you don't see that they had did the same thing over and over, but they changed the colors or they changed the tech, different things like that. You usually see or hear about what actually hit. Everything else is damn near invisible. But in Drake's circumstance, everything that he does, whether he's doing to do a temperature check or anything, is magnified. And so everything from the 100 gigs and the certain collaborations and everything like that, it's like he's trying to figure out a way to get past the beef without actually getting past it, because then in some ways he's trying to get over it, but in other ways he keeps on bringing it up because that's the only thing at this point that seems that he's holding on to, that's able to get him some sort of attention, because the other stuff like this or certain stuff that he does, it always gets tied as far as the Kendrick. So it's like I said, the move itself, if we take away the beef and the alleged, racism of Morgan Allen, uh, super popular, super mega star hip hop artist, having the optics with a super mega star country artist, that under other circumstances would have been great. But this is why Drake is getting the
This is
backlash that
really the
he's
start
getting.
of something atrocious for Drake, and especially when we see the past and reputation of the guy who he is being buddy-buddy with more than any single other rapper. Well, with this, what Drake is showing is that now with how low he is going in terms of the people that he wants everybody to know are on his side. Well, I didn't think it was possible, but he has somehow just lost even more credibility, and genuinely this decision-making is somehow making Kendrick Lamar's lyrics even more true after everything that has already been proven. And now, before we go any further into this and just how atrocious this actually is going to end up being for Drake, hip-hop, and everything as a whole, be sure to leave that like and subscribe if you have not already, because truly with this moment, well, when we really put into perspective the move that Drake has just made for every single person to see and talk about it, it's truly concerning, because it's showing that despite all of the criticism that Drake has had come his way about how out of touch he is and even how his viewpoints align with some of the biggest losers you possibly could on the worst level, well, from hip-hop to beyond, Drake has just never made himself seem like he wants to be more of the face of being in the Hall of Fame of trash, because speaking of trash, well, when it comes to the overrated stat-padding artists in the industry and some of the clearly most terrible people that you could be with in music in terms of their character, well, truly, Drake found somebody worse than him, as he just made a statement and moment with one of the biggest, if not the face of so many different problems, both artistically and in terms of character in the industry today, in none other than Morgan Wallen. As at Morgan Wallen's second stadium show in Houston,
Y'all gotta let me know. I had no clue. I just randomly came across one of his songs maybe like a year or two ago, did a reaction to it, got like a pretty decent, response and viewpoint with it because of his fan base, but I might have reacted to maybe three or so tracks. What did he do? Like, so I'm just like,
Decided to
dang.
walk out with Drake, and I mean, just look at this. It really can't get more cringe. Look how excited Drake is to be next to somebody who, again, is one of the biggest crash outs you possibly could be. And really, now, with
Wow.
Drake being out in Houston and doing all of this for Morgan here, it is showing on one hand that he is mad at Toronto and where he is from as a whole for how hard they went for Kendrick Lamar. And because of this, he has run away
That's
for now
so
from the place he
crazy.
used to act like would always have his back, which in of itself is actually hilarious. But with this, now
Yeah.
that Drake has ran away from his very home like a lame loser and just trying to get back and seek attention in any way possible, well, I guess he's starting to try and rebuild his career. But now, while I guess Drake finally was able to have a moment where he actually got into a stadium show and just felt what it actually
Damn.
looks like to be on top of your game musically,
That is hilarious. That's how you got a stadium. That's how you got a stadium tour performance, Drake. Ah, shit.
perform within one of these massive venues, I guess? Well, it's more concerning and
I
baffling that
guess.
even Drake just running out here and now trying to just get a glimpse of what Kendrick is getting every single night on tour at another artist show is the fact that with Morgan Wallen, who in all honesty, Drake looked more excited and happy to be around than any single other person who he has had by his side in like a decade. Well, of course, considering Morgan's past and a lot of his controversies, which
Oh,
reveal that he
wow.
is a disgusting, terrible, and awful person time after time. This isn't a one time thing, but these are consistent choices
Dang.
and a consistent character that he shows. Well, once again, when it comes to this whole idea about how Drake is
Woo,
not hip hop
shit.
and he is not in tune with the culture and just what it actually means to be a rapper, or you know what? This isn't even just music anymore, but just a respected individual who has some sort of honor for themselves a little bit. Well, really, this is exactly what Kendrick Lamar
Man.
has been talking about on a track like
Exactly, and it made me think about a lot of that. I know we're in 2025, but the idea of honor and morality and different things like that, it almost seems like a foreign concept. You know what I mean? It's just all like, yo, what is going on? Like whether it be people who will, we're not even worried about other entities or people pimping out people. We're talking about people pimping themselves out, whether it be musically, whether it be as far as online, whether it be OF, whether it be stream, like people are pipping themselves out, so that whole aspect as far as the character of Morgan Wallen and the character of how Drake moves, it's just all like when you look at certain things, it's just like, yo, y'all keep the fame. You know what I mean? Like y'all keep there's a certain like I would say sickness, but it's like it feels more sinister than that. And you see over and over people that are associated in that world as far as heavily. I think you can be talented and you can interact with it, for the necessities. But other than that, like I think Kendrick is a good example. Denzel Washington, I think he was talking about certain things and not being out past, a certain time. And it's just like, yeah, you don't want to put yourselves, there ain't nothing out there worthwhile. You know what I mean? And yeah, it might be easy to say, unless like because I don't have it or different things like that. But it's just I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again. I don't need to um go through it to an extreme level to know, like, okay, there's something with that, and even just people's want to be like billionaires. If you're not a millionaire, then your life is worthless, type of thing. And it's just like that's literally not the case, So it's just so fascinating because we see the people that Drake associates with or and ties himself with, and I'm not saying Kendrick is, a saint as far as who he ties himself to, but it's just Drake doesn't speak on nothing of morals, nothing of good character. The way he operates with other men's women and all different types of stuff, it's just all like it's not good character.
Like Us, and so many other different disses, because truly, with Drake just parading around with somebody like Morgan Wallen of all people, and of course within this, just seeing the way the two are supporting each other after this moment, which at the very least, what you can say is that this is the most Drake has enjoyed and embraced another artist's presence really since 21
Why
Savage
is
and
he
Her Loss,
freaking
but maybe
like
even way before
it
that.
has
Well,
his
to be
body
honest, what
like
this
that?
move
It's
shows the
weird.
rest of hip-hop and everybody else in this time where rap and culture as a whole has never been in a more pivotal place in terms of the messages that are being sent and the impact that is going to last, is that Drake does not even want to try to make it into this next era of hip-hop, and now that the genre is shifting, and let's just put it out, things for him are only getting worse, and the window for any sort of success has gotten way, way smaller. What we should take from this move of Drake running out to Houston and just parading around Morgan Wallen like this and seeing how the two were hanging out in general is that Drake is figuratively trading in any remaining aspects of his character that were still trying to hold up or just mimic the standards of hip hop, and as a whole, he is really trying to return them and put them all in to turn into something that truly is bad and may honestly just be the new grift for vultures in the industry, which is
Yeah. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Catalog. Yeah. These are not singles, these are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase all of that in the link in the description. And just check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. Yeah, it's like he almost has been sowing those seeds with different projects and styles that he uses. I'll leave the full video so y'all can check it out. But yo, it's bad. It's bad. I would definitely like to know more of what Morgan Wallen has done. I literally did not know. Nobody, when I did the reactions, was just all like, hey, Morgan did X, Y, and Z, you should have, type of thing. So I was not aware. But it's very, very interesting. The fact that it was in Houston, and that's apparently like Drake's second home, but it's wild. There's like legit things going on in the world, and it's just so fascinating. It's just so fascinating what we put our time and attention into. Like the only reason I say that is because I'm just sitting up there and I'm like, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild. And it's like maybe it's needed due to the fact of like the crazy stuff going on in the world to have an escape, type of thing. But it's weird. I think Drake, the way he's moving, I don't think that within the next couple of years, a lot of this stuff I don't think is gonna be tolerated, honestly. I think we're gonna be able to see a clear, linear view of the way certain things play out. And I think there's gonna be a complete shift in hip hop and just music in general. I think, with AI and what it's able to do, I let me know y'all's thoughts. Let me know y'all's thoughts. But it's just a composition, the MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.